Alright folks, how you doing? So, if you haven't gone into Unslaved yet and listened to the Daemons podcast by Tyrion, please do so. It's well worth a listen. Well worth a download. I'm going to listen to it again, actually. But when you watch scenes like this from Game of Thrones, and you listen to that podcast and you start putting it all together, it's pretty interesting. And I'll go through this scene and show you what I mean.
I wonder if they'd find you before the wolves did.
What you looking at, Halfman?
I'm looking at you. Yes. You've got an interesting face. Very distinctive faces. All of you.
And what do you care about our faces?
It's just, I think they would look marvellous decorating spikes in King's Landing. Perhaps I'll write to my sister, the Queen, about it.
We'll talk later, lads, now. Everybody knew what this place was, and no one told me. No one but you.
So that's very interesting. Tyrion, in my opinion, is not just the best Lannister, he's the best character in both The Song of Ice and Fire and Game of Thrones, the TV show. Well, up till seasons 5 to 8, but let's just forget they never happened. But certainly for the first 4 seasons, because Tyrion has a sort of humility and a sort of wisdom that isn't present in any of the other characters, especially any other Lannisters, you know. And when you listen to the Daemons podcast, Michael actually talks about how the little people in certain mythologies and certain legends were advisors to kings. And very interestingly, when we get through the show of Game of Thrones, and very probably the books that are ever finished, we find out that Jon Snow here, spoilers, is the true king. He is the blood descendant of the Targaryens. He's one of the very, very few left. He has the most direct claim to the throne, being the son of Prince Rhaegar. So bear that in mind when you're watching this scene back.
My father knew, and he left me to rot at the wall all the same.
Gren's father left him too, outside a farmhouse when he was 3. Pip was caught stealing a wheel of cheese his little sister hadn't eaten in 3 days. He was given a choice, his right hand or the wall. I've been asking the Lord Commander about them. Fascinating stories.
They hate me because I'm better than they
It's
are.
a lucky thing none of them were trained by a master-at-arms like your Sir Roderick. I don't imagine any of them have ever held a real sword before they came here. Oh. Your brother Bran. He's woken up.
Interesting how Tyrion, of all people, even though he was born into a very privileged family and grew up with wealth all of his life and privilege, you know, he has servants with him. You don't see them in this particular scene, but they're there. He comes in, talks to the true king, nobody knows he's a true king, and teaches him a lesson in humility. He teaches him the backstories of his companions, who he looks down upon and basically pisses on, figuratively speaking, you know, and says, I'm better than everyone else. And then Tyrion points out to him, well, do you know their stories? Do you know their circumstances? And he teaches him the true humility that is needed to be a good king. Of course, as we know if you watch the TV show, Jon Snow later on does become a king. He becomes the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, and then he becomes king in the North.
Bears balls.
Oh, you're joking.
But anyway, thanks for watching this video, and be sure to check that podcast out. It's called Daemons, and it's very insightful, especially when you watch the likes of Game of Thrones or any other, you know, these fantasy science fiction universes, and the role of little people or dwarves, you know, or fairies, leprechauns, that sort of thing. It's pretty interesting. I see if you actually go into the Irish myths and the old Celtic myths, you know, you might be surprised. Anyway, thanks for watching.